Hey there guys, welcome back to another tiering video just before we start this year's month for RetroBrown for December. And we've got a lot to go through on this tiering video, I'll be completely honest with you guys, because we've not done a tiering video since the very start of the year. And that ended up with the last Pokemon being added to it was Charmander. So we have got all these Pokemon down here which now need to go into the tiering list. So we'll start in chronological order of the videos that we've done. We'll start off first with Rhyhorn. Now Rhyhorn, it wasn't too, well, it was actually quite a bad run if I'm being honest. It finished the game at 6 hours, 38 minutes at a level of 84. Meaning just because of the time alone, it just barely scrapes out from being in that E tier. The cutoff for E tier is level 90, but the cutoff time is 7 hours, so just based on the time alone, it barely gets into D tier and right at the last place. Second up, we have Caterpie, the last of the 5 Pokemon I determined would be impossible runs, and yeah, it did deliver really. It managed to get all the way to Lavender Tower at level 61 at 9 hours 56 minutes, so 3 hours quicker than Magikarp. Only reason why it's not going above Weedle, Weedle can actually get past Lavender Tower. And that's pretty much the whole of the F tier as far as I determined to see it, but we still have quite a lot of Pokemon left. We've still got about 51 Pokemon left to do on this. So, you know, who knows, there might be another F tier Pokemon that comes on. Next up, of course, is Magmar. Now, Magmar, I really enjoyed the Magmar run. It's probably my favourite fire type in Gen 1, and it delivered. It really did deliver. It finished the game in 3 hours and 13 minutes at level 62. Now, based off my criteria, that actually makes it an S tier Pokemon. But we're in the S tier. So, Primeape, it got 3 hours 16 minutes at level 62. So, just based off 3 minutes alone, I would say Magmar is just slightly better than Primeape. Oh, it's tiering maker's a little bit slow, but either way. So, it actually makes it the 7th best run that we've ever done to that point. That brings us to Bellsprout. Bellsprout, it wasn't too bad of a run really. 5 hours and 9 minutes at level 64. It's a solid C tier Pokemon. Just very much slower than Meowth. So it's a little bit quicker than Goldeen was, but yeah. Well, it's levels alone, it puts it just above Goldeen. Goldeen finished with 5 hours 9 minutes at level 68, so Bellsprout finished level 64, meaning it just goes before Goldeen. Next up is Hitmonchan, and we're going to do both the last Hitmons in this video as well, because there are no more Hitmons to do in solo runs on this channel. So Hitmonchan was a weird Pokemon really. It finished the game at 5 hours and 8 minutes, putting it into at least that C tier. Its level was level 63. Now, Meowth finished the game at 5 hours and 3 minutes, 5 minutes quicker, but its level was 6 levels less, at level 69, meaning Hitmonchan only just beats out Meowth. Doesn't beat out Blastoise though. Blastoise had 1 minute better, 2 levels worse, but 1 minute difference, I think it's fair to say that Blastoise is a little bit better. Plus, I did Blastoise right at the start of my channel, when I wasn't as well versed in Gen 1 as I am now, so yeah, I feel like that's a bit of a fair placement really. Next up is Starmie, and again, the water types are reigning supreme in Kanto. Starmie finished the game at 3 hours 20 minutes, only barely making it into that S tier. But what made this run absolutely phenomenal is to this point, the only other Pokemon that has managed to complete the game at level 51, the other being Mewtwo. If it hadn't have got if it had done the run 20 minutes later, it would literally be on the same tier as Mewtwo, but 3 hours 20 minutes, level 51, I can only place it as high just before Gengar. Literally as high as I can put it. I cannot put it any higher considering Gengar finished at level 56 at 3 hours and 9 minutes. There's 11 minute difference there. That's the reason why Starmie can't go over. That then brings us to Ghastly, and Ghastly is joining the same ranks as Poliwag. and Clefairy, two of the only first stage evolution Pokemon that have made it into A tier. Ghastly finished the game at 3 hours, 48 minutes, the exact same as Poliwag, but it did it 4 levels less at level 61. So yeah, Ghastly, Poliwag and Clefairy so far have been the best first stage evolutions that we have done on solo runs. Next up is Growlithe. Now Growlithe, this is going to be an odd one because right at the start of my channel I did an Arcanine run and it didn't do all too well. Well, Growlithe is actually going to the top of D tier. At 5 hours 36 minutes at level 61, it beats both the time, well it just beats the time pretty much by near enough an hour. Arcanine finished level 55, but that time difference, yeah, I couldn't do it, so Growlithe has to go above Arcanine in this circumstance. If I did a repeat of the likes of the Arcanine, the Snorlax and even the Blastoise run, yeah, probably would see different circumstances because I'm more well versed in it. Next up is Sandshrew, one of my favourite Gen 1 Pokemon, but unfortunately it did not deliver. It is a slow Pokemon, but it finished the game at 4 hours 52 minutes. What made this run a D tier run was the fact that it finished at level 83. Now there's a massive gap in time between the top of D tier and Sandshrew, but I can't ignore 22 level difference between these two. I'm going to give Growlithe the edge and put Sandshrew in the second slot. Squirtle is up next, and yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It finished the game in 5 hours and 8 minutes at level 78. Why I had to be so high level is just ridiculous, but with this criteria it actually does put it in the C tier. Right at the bottom though, Jigglypuff has beat it by levels and 3 minutes, so yeah, cannot put Squirtle any higher than this based off my runs. Next is Zubat. Zubat was an odd one. I didn't think it would be a good run whatsoever, and that kind of showed in its placing. It finished the game in 7 hours 32 minutes at level 78. Based off my criteria, that is an immediate E tier, and it goes just below Seadra. Sandslash finished in 8 hours 1 minute at level 71. So yeah, it's just too big of a difference for me to put Zubat any lower or Sandslash any higher. Again, Sandslash was one of the first videos I did on this channel. If I did it again, like the Sandshrew run, it probably would tier a lot higher, but I'm not doing these runs again. Next up is Chansey. Now, Chansey is an absolute beast when it comes to competitive play, but in a solo perspective, it still ranks high, but not an S or an SS tier. It actually ranks in the A tier. Finished at 3 hours 48 minutes, same as Ghastly, but at level 60, just one level better. And this is how close some of these timings are now. Like, now we're getting further and further through this Pokedex. Chansey only beat out Ghastly by 1 level, and it beat Poliwag out by 5. So yeah, the margins are getting so close now. It's really getting close. Next up is Shellder. Now Cloyster did alright getting into the C tier. It is ridiculously bulky defensively competitive, but Shellder not so much. He finished the game at 7 hours 44 minutes at level 70, putting it into that E tier. Where in the E tier though? Well, again, Sandslash did it in much slower time, so, and yeah, there's just too much of a level disparity between these two, and time disparity, so Shellder gets beaten out by Zubat. That then brings us to Magnemite, and again we are going into the E tier with this one. So Magnemite finished the game at 7 hours 11 minutes, the exact same, well not the exact same. It finished at 7 hours 11 minutes at level 71, meaning it got better time and level than Zubat, but not better than Seadra. Seadra finished level 65 at 7 hours 40 minutes. To be fair, Seadra could be bumped down, but for now, I'm just going to leave Magnemite here. That brings us to Vaporeon. Now Vaporeon, I was hoping, considering in my opinion it's the best evolution in Gen 1, I thought it would be getting into that S tier, but no. It got a time of 3 hours 33 minutes, meaning it won't be into S tier, but it did get level 58. The time alone was the only reason why it didn't get there, and for now, it is slower than Rapidash by 11 minutes. So A tier is now starting to fill out a bit more. We probably need to start thinking about what goes in B tier a bit more, but either way, let's talk about Kadabra. Kadabra finished the game at 3 hours and 9 minutes. Phenomenal run. Absolutely phenomenal run. But it didn't beat out Gengar by levels at level 59. It does beat Starmie because of the 11 minutes difference. But yeah, I can't ignore just that level difference. It's just, yeah, Kadabra does beat out Starmie, and it also beats out Alakazam, who was 2 tiers below it. Again, Alakazam was an early run, and it only got about 4 hours, so yeah. It's a big difference, but this is how it happened. Next up is Fearow. Now, I was expecting Fearow to be the best performing flying type Pokemon, but it didn't deliver. Lorelei completely walled it, in the level that we had to beat the game just kept increasing and increasing and increasing. And at the end, Fearow finished the game at 5 hours 17 minutes, putting it into the C tier for time, but only barely at level 78. Squirtle beats out a Fearow. Who would have thought that? Next up is Charmeleon, and you know what, so far the Charmander line is just taking home the crown for the best starter in my solo runs, and I don't know why, because water types should be performing much better. They really should. Charmeleon finished at 3 hours 34 minutes at level 61, meaning it doesn't just barely beat Vaporeon, but it does beat Wartortle, which is huge. It's in all categories. Charmander is beating out Squirtle, it's beating out Bulbasaur, and in 2 Pokemon ranking times we'll see where Ivysaur finished up. But first we need to talk about Voltorb. So Voltorb was a hard run really. Finished the game at 6 hours and 1 minute, which means it can't go into C tier. It finished the game at level 67, so just based off time alone, it does go into the D tier. Now, it was not as quick as Onix. Onix finished at 5 hours 48, but yeah, it's at level 76 versus level 67, yeah. Just the time difference means that Voltorb doesn't get higher than Onix here. But let's talk about Ivysaur. Now, Ivysaur is a decent middle stage evolution, but like Bulbasaur, who is in the bottom tiers unfortunately, Ivysaur does not reach into that A tier with Charmeleon and Wartortle. With finishing at 4 hours 5 minutes, it does not get into that A tier. It finished at level 57 though, which is pretty damn good. I mean, looking at the levels, it's actually the lowest level starter middle stage that we've actually done, but the time in itself is just not good enough. It goes into the B tier before Electabuzz, and we can move on to Cthulhu himself, Mr. Omastar. Omastar was a decent run. It was actually a very good run looking back at my times. It finished at 3 hours and 27 minutes, meaning 7 minutes off the S tier times, but it did finish level 58, meaning Raticate has been pushed back in the A tier rankings by Omastar. Not by much though, it was 6 level difference between Omastar and Raticate. They had the exact same time, but I cannot deny, better levels equals a higher placing. That brings me to one of my other favourite Pokemon from Gen 1, and that is Cubone. I seem to have a thing for ground types, like Gen 1 ground types, I don't know why that is. Cubone finished the game at 4 hours 38 minutes, which is a really good time really. It actually, on time alone, would actually get into B tier. What's putting it down a tier though is going to be its level. It finished at level 78, meaning it's a solid C tier Pokemon really. But because of its time, it really does outshine Blastoise. Blastoise had 5 hours and 7 minutes. Cubone had 4 hours and 38 minutes, so it doesn't matter if it got 78 levels higher. Blastoise at level 65 just, yeah, it did it just quicker. I cannot deny that. That then brings us on to Parasect. First time we've done a Pokemon with 4 times weaknesses, and it didn't actually do too bad. I thought, considering it had so many weaknesses, that it wouldn't do well. But Parasect finished the game at 4 hours and 12 minutes at level 60, which is pretty damn good. 4 hours 12 minutes won't get into A tier, but it does get it into B tier. And it only just beats out Machoke on on its levels. Macho finished at 4 hours and 3 minutes, but it finished level 68, meaning Parasect slots in just before. Electro finished at level 68, but it had 3 hours 51 minutes, so I'm going to place it between these two here, and I think that's a fair placing, really. Now we have James's Pokemon, Weezing. Let's see how we've done on this one. 4 hours and 19 minutes, level 61. It's another solid B tier Pokemon, and it unfortunately does not beat out the middle stage evolution of Nidorino. Nidorino had 4 hours and 8 minutes, level 64. Weezing had 4 hours 19 minutes, level 61. Yeah, the time in itself, I can't place it any higher than Rattata, really. And that brings us to Misty's Psyduck. Now, this Psyduck is not a bad Pokemon, but I'd say its moveset lets it down quite a lot. It learns Confusion, which is fair, but that's the only Psychic type move it learns. If it could learn Psychic even by TM, it would be a lot higher tiering, I think. At 4 hours 46 and at level 66, it's a solid C tier Pokemon, and it just doesn't beat out Raichu. Raichu had 4 hours 56, Psyduck had 4 hours 46, but there's a 7 level difference between the two. Raichu finished level 59, Psyduck finished level 66, so yeah, unfortunately Raichu has been bumped down further into C tier. Dugtrio, I was so happy with the result for this one, but I really hoped it had done better. At 3 hours 17 minutes and at level 65, it joins the S tier with all the others. It's a little bit better than Golduck. Actually, to be fair, Golduck finished at 3 hours 20 minutes, Dugtrio finished at 3 hours 17, but there's a 5 level difference between the two. Just because of the levels alone, I actually think Dugtrio belongs at the bottom of S tier. But that is still a really good placement considering ground types have got a lot of weaknesses with the trainers in Kanto. So to place even at an S tier level, Dugtrio needs to be proud of that one. Now we get on to the most surprising Pokemon of this entire video. When I started the run with this Pokemon, I didn't think it would get anything around. I thought A tier would have been fair. It blew all expectations. Dugong here got a time of 3 hours, which is SS tier, at a level of 57, meaning Dugong of all Pokemon joins the SS tier for solo running, based off videos on my channel. That is absolutely insane. Like, I remember when I finished this run, I sat for a good 10 minutes just like, no way I've just done that with a Dugong. That is insane. I expected it from Gyarados, but not a Dugong. Like, it beats out a Gengar. It beats out all of these Pokemon. Yeah, if you want a fun solo run, have a go with Dugong, because it will surprise you how good it actually is. Let's bring it back to the next Pokemon. Next up we have Hitmonlee. Now Hitmonlee is by far the best performing Hitmon that we have done a run on. Whether it's in Gen 1 or Gen 2, Hitmonlee finished the game in 3 hours 10 minutes at level 62. Meaning it's an S tier Pokemon that only just beats out Slowbro. Yeah. Slowbro's slowness actually does make it a bit of a detriment and pushes it further down the rankings. Just insane. Next up we have one of the Pokemon that I have been putting off for so long because I just did not enjoy the Seadra run when it happened right at the start of my channel. But, you know what? It kind of proved me wrong a bit. Horsea finished the game at 4 hours 31 minutes at level 65. Based off my criteria, Horsea's a B tier Pokemon. I really must have just been having a bad day with Seadra and maybe should go back and do it, but yeah, Horsea is actually a B tier Pokemon. That really surprised me, and don't know what I was on that day, but I actually performed well with it. Yeah, not happy it's there, but this is my criteria. So we only got a few more left to do before we end this video, so let's go into the last 6, and we'll start with Execute. Now Execute, as I imagined, did not perform well. It finished the game at 7 hours 11 minutes, same as Magnemite, but it finished it 2 levels less, meaning Magnemite just beats out Execute into the E tier. And next we have another Pokemon, which to be honest, I don't think you'll have been surprised that this Pokemon is in this tier, considering that it is one of the speedrunners' choices. Nidoking finished the game at 2 hours 48 minutes at level 59. Just getting into SS tier by its level is by far our highest leveled SS tier Pokemon, but it beats out Zapdos by 11 minutes, meaning it takes the number 3 spot and Zapdos has been moved to number 4. I didn't think throughout this year we'd be adding even 2 more Pokemon to that SS tier until we got to other legendary birds, but wow, Nidoking and Dugong, I'm still so surprised at that. It's, yeah, crazy. Next up we have the big boy himself, we have Golem, who finished the game in a whopping 3 hours 49 minutes, but at a terrible level of level 69. Nice. So based off that, it is going to be a B tier Pokemon, but it cannot go any higher than Electabuzz, who finished the game 6 levels better. I know I'm making the rules, and this is what I'm sticking to. Golem is a B tier Pokemon for me. That then brings us to Persian. Giovanni's one of the more iconic Pokemon that he has, and just based off the anime. So Persian finished the game in 3 hours and 4 minutes, which is by far, it's not going to get into SS tier, but it's by far our quickest S tier Pokemon. The only problem is, it finished the game at level 63, meaning Gengar's level 56 outweighs it, and Persian will go into the number 2 slot on the S tier. Some really weird choices, aren't there, like of the tiering, but this is how my runs are going, this is how I'm ranking them. We've got 2 Pokemon left and we'll skip through these because this has been quite a long video now. Pidgeotto, it finished the game at 5 hours 16 minutes level 71, meaning it's a solid C tier Pokemon, just not very good. Only just beats out Squirtle and also beats out Fearow. Dragonair, very last Pokemon in this video. Dragonair finished the game at a decent time of 4 hours 27 minutes to level 62. It does get itself into the B tier, but it's not going to be a high ranking whatsoever. In fact, Weezing beat it out by 8 minutes and 1 level better. Meaning, Rattata's been pushed a little bit further down, which does sadden me a bit because I do like Rattata. But there we go. This is every Pokemon that I have done a solo run with so far. That is 100 Pokemon you are seeing here. Now, if you want to go back and check out my channel, watch any of the individual runs, please do. It really helps out the channel. We've only got 51 Pokemon left to go, and I'm excited to get the. So I started this channel nearly 2 years ago now. It's taken me 2 years to do over 100 solo runs in Gen 1, and it's been fun. I really am enjoying myself, but it's going to be kind of sad when we get to the end of Kanto. I'll have to think of what else we can do with Kanto following this, but for now, we are nearly there. We're 2/3 of the way there. And thank you for everybody who has been joining me on this journey to solo the game with every single Pokemon. It's really been appreciated. I know this isn't the biggest channel out there, but every person who does join it, does subscribe, does comment, does like a video, just know it's really appreciated. From now, the next month, from tomorrow actually, we are going to be doing again the month of RetroBrown throughout December, where I will be bringing you a video every single day. There will be some solo runs, there will be some Monotite runs, and there's also going to be some collaborative content there with one of my close friends. Hope you enjoyed all, and as always, take care. You're appreciated.